Hello, good day everyone. So welcome back to my channel. Again, this is me, Joe Bren. So I'll be discussing another video lessons. It's still in the subject of the life and works of Dr. Jose Rizal. So we'll be discussing about his life, his journey, his travels. So and all of the things that we need to know about his life, about his journey, his enlightenment, his education. So today is I'll be discussing another chapter. So this is our, if I am not mistaken, it's our lesson number 4. This is lesson 4. So I'll be discussing about the travels and experiences abroad of Dr. Jose Rizal. So as we all know that the journey, the life, and his education is Rizal loves to travel. He loves to go to, he went to Europe. So let's start to get to know or to immerse ourselves with his educational journey and travel. So his first journey to Europe. So Jose Rizal's first journey to Europe in 1882 was an enlightening experience that significantly influenced his ideas, writings, and activism. So again, Rizal wants to change, to create a social and political reform. So his journey to Europe also played a significant role in shaping his own views, his writings, his understanding. So there's a lot of things happening during his travels and experiences abroad. So Rizal left the Philippines on May 3, 1882, without informing his parents. So, without informing his parents of his plan to go to Europe. So, the main reason why is because Sir Rizal, he was afraid or has this fear that if he will inform his parents, they will not allow him to go to Europe. So because of the fear that they would not allow him to go, so that's why Rizal did not inform his parents. So his older brother Pasiano funded his trip and encouraged him to study abroad to fully realize his potentials. So his brother Pasiano supported him to study abroad and to encourage him to go to Europe. So he sailed from Manila to Singapore and then to Europe. So from Manila, Singapore, then to Europe. First is he went to Singapore. So his first stop was Singapore. So he made observations about the botanical garden, the beautiful buildings, the busy shipping industry, and the multicultural society. So Rizal stayed in Singapore for a few days before setting sail to Europe. So from Singapore, Rizal traveled to Colombo in Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, then to Aden at the tip of the Red Sea. So he traversed the Suez Canal, so an experience he found fascinating, and saw the desert of Egypt, an impressive sight to him. He then landed and continued on to Barcelona, Spain. So at first, his first stop was in Singapore and then journeying towards Barcelona, Spain. So in Barcelona, Spain, Rizal was warmly welcomed by a lot of Filipinos there, Filipino residents, including his friend, so Maximo Viola. So he is Rizal's friend in Barcelona. So again, Rizal was very observant, so he found a lot of things very fascinating for him. So in Barcelona, Spain, he observed the difference between the Philippines and Spain in terms of governance and society, noticing the relative freedom and vibrancy of intellectual life in Spain. Again, because Rizal wanted to travel, so he witnessed a lot of differences when it comes to governance, our society, the freedom that we enjoy. So he tried to compare the difference between the Philippines and the Spain in terms of governance and society. So from Barcelona, Spain, so Rizal moved to Madrid. Madrid is the capital city of Spain. So Rizal moved to Madrid to enroll at the Universidad Central de Madrid. So from Spain he traveled to Madrid to further his studies in medicine and philosophy and letters. So he enrolled at Universidad Central de Madrid. So his time in Madrid exposed him to liberal ideas were shaping Europe at that time. So again, he joined the propaganda movement in Madrid and became an active contributor to La Solidaridad. This is a movement newspaper advocating for political reforms in the Philippines. So he became an active contributor, a regular contributor to La Solidaridad during his time in Spain, in Madrid, by the way. So how his writing, so his experiences and observations during his journey significantly influences writing and activism. So his first journey in Europe was an eye-opening experience that exposed him to various cultures, political ideologies, and societies. So his travels, combined with his studies, serve as a catalyst for his activism and his fight for Philippine independence. Because Rizal wants to travel abroad, so he was exposed to a lot of things, a lot of various ideologies, various cultures, and he was a kind of very observant on the various cultures that he is in, and he wants to learn more. So behind his academic pursuit, Jose Rizal's travels and experiences in Europe significantly shaped his personal growth, his political outlook, and literary prowess. So he became more and more brilliant in terms of his political ideologies, his observations, his personal growth. He became more and more attached to his idea and his fight for Philippine independence. He was exposed to different cultures, socio-political cultures and ideologies that influence his perspective on the conditions in his home country, the Philippines. So, because of his exposure to a lot of things, various cultures, he studied medicine and philosophy and letters. And because he wants to further his study, aside from that, he also became more attached to his fight for Philippine independence. So Rizal moved to Madrid in 1882 to further studies at the Universidad Central de Madrid, where he took two courses in Madrid, medicine and philosophy and letters. So Madrid is the capital of Spain. So Madrid was a city full of intellectual and political activity. So again, because of this, Madrid, uh, people of people of Spain, they are highly intellectual and they love to have discussion when it comes to political activity. So here Rizal was able to freely engage in some discourse from discussions and was able to express his ideas, which is good. And his ability to engage in some discourse, express his ideas, a stark contrast to the oppressive environment under Spanish rule in the Philippines. Because again, by that time is we when we were under the Spanish rule, so we are not expressive with our ideas. But when Dr. Rizal went to Madrid, the capital of Spain, so he experienced a lot of discourse, a lot of discussion, which makes him more active, more involved in some political activity in Madrid. So he actively joined the propaganda movement, aligning with other Filipino advocating for reforms in the Philippines. So he became a regular contributor to La Solidaridad, the movement newspaper. But then again, Rizal was not purely academic and politics. So he also explored some interests such as art and fencing. So he joined the Circulo Hispano-Filipino, a society of Filipinos in Spain, and he was part of a group of Filipino artists and intellectuals who often gathered for discussion. So again, Rizal enjoyed discourse, discussion. He also showed some interest in art and fencing, and Rizal is also a good artist. So this environment nurtured his intellectual growth and fueled his desire for reforms in his homeland. So their shared experiences and aspirations for their homeland solidified his determination to contribute to the struggle for Philippine independence. Again, because he was exposed to a lot of things and the desire for Philippine independence aspire him to do something more for the betterment of his homeland. But because of that exposure in Madrid, in Spain. So in Paris, so from Madrid, so he went to Paris or France. Rizal furthered his studies in ophthalmology under the guidance of the renowned Dr. Louis D. Wecker. So his time in Paris was also characterized by his active involvement in the Filipino community, contributing to the community's understanding of the political situation in the Philippines. Again, every time he went to one country from another country, he's actively participating, and his active involvement molded him to become more immersed in the current situation of the Filipino people. So Paris, with its vibrant intellectual and cultural scene, so aside from Madrid, which full of intellectual people, Paris also it was also a city with its vibrant intellectual and cultural scene, deeply impacted Rizal. So again, his environment impacted him to do something more for the betterment of his country. The French values of liberty, equality, and fraternity resonated with Rizal's own aspiration for his homeland. So again, Rizal was a brilliant uh, Filipino. He immersed himself to a lot of things. He travels abroad and he acquired learnings. He acquired a lot of political ideologies, and he travels from Singapore to Sri Lanka, then to Barcelona, then to Madrid, and then to Paris, just to explain, or just to immerse himself to the various cultures and the experiences, so that he can help more on the Filipino people who is still fighting for Philippine independence. And again, Rizal's contribution up to this day is still molded us to become more active as Filipino people, to contribute more to the improvement of our own homeland. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you are learning, and we will continue discussing this next week. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. That would be all. Thank you and God bless you.